oh man. Another nice day at the lake. But we got a little bit more work to do in the boathouse, so let's get going. So the chore today is these doors. If you notice at the top, the door on the right is just a little bit lower than the door on the left. Kind of noticeable down there at the bottom too. So what my chore is today is we're going to try and fix these doors to make them more even. And there's a couple of trim boards here at the bottom and maybe I don't know, at the top there that need to get changed. So I'm working on getting these doors closing a little bit better, and because when the tree fell on the boathouse up here, pushed this wall out, it also pushed it like back towards the camp side, towards the left here. So I'm trying to get this door to work a little bit better, and what I have here is just a little nailer strip to close the gap between the two doors when they close over together. And that strip, if you notice at the top, it was rubbing on the doorstop up here. So I cut that out with a chisel. So now that closes in there a lot better. But now the big issue is with the right hand door. Wait till I show you what's going on with it. So as I close the right door, it closes and latches good, but it's quite a bit lower, eh? So when I look at that, that door can move up some. But what happens when you move it up is this 45 on the corner, that'll close up pretty tight pretty quick. So I might have to move, might have to cut that 45 back somewhat to get that door up. Now I measured it and it has to go up about 1/2 inch. So I'm going to take the door off and see what I can do, see about moving that whole door up 1/2 inch, see what happens. And some of these trim pieces, they're just totally rotted out, eh? A lot of these trim boards have seen better days, so I think I'm going to take them off too. I'll flip this over because these trim boards are screwed on from the back side. Kind of rotten down there, but the rest of the sticks are in not bad shape, so I can reuse parts of that. So in order to get my panel here to fit in the opening down at the boathouse, I don't know, it's not as easy as it looks, not to me anyways. I determined that this door has to come up about 1/2 inch. Lucky for me, the trim board was about 1/2 inch down from the top, so I'm thinking if I cut 1/2 inch off the top, that'll slide up in place. But because of this angle on the side, that angle is going to hit, so it won't allow the door to come up. So I have to determine how much to cut off here in order to make it fit good. You just can't cut 1/2 inch off of that, I don't think. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to cut this at 1/2 inch, right there. Now I just had this brainiac idea. If this hinge side and this angle is fit good, then that means if I measure this length, it's 11.5 inches. So when I cut this, as long as I cut this angle back and make that 11.5 inches, it should fit, right? Anyway, I'm gonna go get my saw and cut this off. That's step one. All right, this might be a mistake, but here we go. All right, so that's that. Now, this was 11.5, and now it is 10 3/4. So if I mark this off at 11.5 again, something like right there, so the edge of that to there. As long as I cut this parallel with that edge, it should be, shouldn't be too bad, I don't think, eh? Alright, we're going to cut this now. 11.5. Okay. Geez, I hope this fits. Before I cut trim boards though to put on it, I'm going to take this way back down and just try to set it in place. So none of the edges are tight, but after all, it's just a boathouse, and I'm not just saying that, but the edges were never ever tight. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go put a trim piece along this edge so I can put the hinges back on it, set it in place, and then we'll, you know, make it pretty. So I want to put the trim board along this hinge side and then figure out the angle to cut this piece. Here's how I go about doing that. I'll just put this on here and clamp it. Now I'm going to use one of these ones just as a spacer. And what I want to do is line up this board to where I want it to cross on this angle. So I'm going to line it up about, just to give them a little bit of a reveal here. And then you just mark where these intersections are. So there's that one. And that one. And then you can join those two marks. And that should be the angle to cut for the cross piece. So I cut my trim piece and I have it set on the door here. So now we're just going to put some screws in it to hold it in place. So now we're going to go back down and set this in place, put the hinges on it maybe, see if we can hang it and figure out where the other pieces are going to go. Okay, there's still quite a large gap on the left hand side up here compared to the right hand side, and the doors are almost touching at the top there, but down here at the bottom there's about a 1/4 inch gap there. So it looks like the door on the right needs to tip to the right at the top, but I can't do that without doing a lot of, you know, remachining and remilling. So what I'm going to do is I marked out where all the trim boards are going to go. This cross piece here has to go down a little bit, so I marked it there, how far down it has to come. Also, what I'm going to try and do is trim off the edge of this, so I put a mark up here on how much to trim that off, put a mark up here on where that top trim piece is going to fit in, and I also put a mark down at the bottom where the bottom trim piece will go. So I think what I can do now is I can take this door right off, take it back up to the shop, cut all the trim pieces, cut the door back, cut all the trim pieces, put them on, bring it back down. See if that works. Okay, so now we have to put these top pieces in. So I have another piece here I'm going to cut for this top piece. Not quite flush, just a little bit of reveal along the top there would be nice. Something like that. Then we're going to mark that here and mark it in here. And then, ideally, we should be able to mark this here and here. And then if I join these two marks, and join them, and then join these two, and then go cut those, they should fit. I made my cuts. Let's see how we made out. This guy's going to go on here, about like that. Now this one should fit right in there. I think that's going to be good once you get a coat of paint on it. No one will notice. So we'll put some screws in here now. Let's go down and try to hang this door now and just see exactly how it looks. A little better. I was concerned about the spacing between the doors, was too tight at the top, so I shaved that back, so it's nice up there now. It's about 1/4 inch. And in fact, that reveal, can't see it behind that board, but it's about the same all the way down. Pieces at the top seem to line up pretty good. This is pretty tight joint over here, a lot tighter than it is on that side, but we're going to have to live with that. Anyway, I'm going to put some more hinges in it, see what happens. So now we just have this latch arm to put on. Alright, there you have it. So another job checked off on the to-do list for the boathouse. I'm glad I'm getting these jobs whittled down. We got the door all trimmed out. Looking not too bad either. I mean, it's not great, it's certainly not great, but it's not looking too bad. It was a little bit of, you know, stick handling to get those angles cut and everything, but hey, it's done. It looks a lot better too, I think. So thanks for watching. Sure hope you enjoyed this little video. I know the boathouse jobs, they're dragging on and dragging on. I think this is going to be part 13 or something like that. But I appreciate you watching, and don't forget, leave me some comments. Have a great week, stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.